What is up, bros? Josh here. In today's video, we're going over how to 5-star the Sunray in the Darkness hard mode. Now, this is the first time the hard modes have been on the live server. We got to check them out on the test server, and boy, is it actually pretty challenging. And I will just say right now, it's going to be really tough to do this with randoms. It isn't impossible by any means, but you are going to need some coordination. So the more people that you have working together and kind of have an idea of what they're doing, the better chance you're going to have to do this. So grab your clan mates, grab some friends, and do as much coordination as you can to have a better chance of actually 5-starring this. Now, our setup for this, again, just a disclaimer, this will work for best for us. You can work whatever setup you want and whatever you like to play the most. Again, this was actually pretty cool. They've talked about doing hard modes for a while now, and now they're actually on the live server. So it's been a lot of fun to kind of get a bit more challenge out of the operations, which tend to be kind of a one and done thing. This actually took us a few tries, and again, this is how we 5-starred it. So for the entirety of this video, you'll see the CV point of view, and in my opinion, the CV is one of the most important, if not the most important ship in this operation, and there's two reasons why. The main reason is its two big cooldowns, which are its Shining 2, which is a AoE heal, which heals everybody on the entire operation, and then a Eclipse, which is a pause. So basically pauses all the enemy ships, and then they don't do anything for an entire 15 seconds, and then the heal, which is massive. All the heals throughout this are based on more damage you do, the more healing you can do. So it's really important for a CV player to get as much damage as possible and save those heals for late game, because you will bail, and you'll see it within our attempt. You'll see how much healing we actually do, and save some of our battleships from going down. Now, we used a setup of a 1-3-3, and yes, we didn't use any destroyers. We used one carrier, 3 battleships because of their ability to do another AoE heal and the energy shield. But the repair zone is amazing. It makes a circle, which can actually do a massive AoE and heal everybody around it, as well as the ability to ram stuff with the energy shield and take no damage. And then we used the cruiser ability. This was basically our damage dealing class. I think 2 of our cruisers, 2 of our 3 had over 1 million damage. 1 was near over 1.5 million, and these are basically going to be your damage dealers, and also their ability to self-heal themselves is amazing. But we actually didn't take, and of course they have a self-healing, which is crazy. Their damage output is nuts. But we actually didn't use any of the destroyers, and felt like we didn't really need it. We could have probably switched out one of our battleships for one of the DDs, but honestly, the 1-3-3 worked for us. Again, you can use whatever you want, and whatever works best for you, or whatever you have the most fun with, will have a chance of doing it. I think the only mandatory thing is using the CV. Just its 2 big cooldowns are pretty massive. Let's get into the gameplay, though, and show you guys what we did and kind of what I was thinking of and what we're looking for to get the best chance to 5-star Sunray in the Darkness hard mode. So first of all, I do kind of have to give a shout out to Wargaming for setting up the hard mode versions of these operations. And the main thing is that this has been a thing that has been an option for a long time. We've just never been able to actually do it. And it's cool to have a kind of a thing where there's a bit more of a coordination needed. Most of the times with operations, you can kind of just go in and 5-star, you're done with one time and you're good to go. This one is actually a bit challenging. I remember early when on PTS we did it, and we actually never 5-starred the hard mode. So it was kind of cool once it got live to really kind of go in and kind of theory craft what was best for us, kind of drop out what we want to do, switch up some certain things, and then do what we can. So again, this is going to be all from the CV's point of view, so I think this will help a lot of people out because it'll hopefully show that. Just a disclaimer, I will be moving the camera around a lot because as being that AoE healer that the CV is, with my T ability, it is really important for me to watch all of my teammates' health and do what we can. One thing that was pretty important here, and one thing you kind of have is these small little waves first before the Varags come in, the big battleships. One thing you can do is just stack up as much damage as possible, because with your ability, it's really important for your CV to get as much damage as possible early. Now, obviously, we were playing basically a full clan setup, and we didn't get like any damage early. They kept stealing all my kills, but once these little guys get out, it's no big deal, and you can start dropping a lot on the big Vargs when they come out. So what I kind of did was try to prioritize dropping one on one big battleship, and then one on the next one, kind of getting them weaker and then doing what you can, because you want to do as much damage as you can to get those big heals for late game, because you will save your teammates and it will be needed. So there's no real need to like save your planes for anything. Just get as much damage as you can early. And yes, you kind of are setting up, for a, everyone's kind of trying to steal it because everything is based off damage, but it's really important to let your CV get as much damage as possible, because he's going to have that very clutch early heals for all of that. So we're going to basically be dropping all these. We're not going to get too far away, as you can see in the bottom right corner. I'm not getting too far away. I'm not even moving right now, so we're stopped, and I want to get these planes out as fast as possible. So as you see, just a bit to the north, and there's the first Varax. This is where the damage really starts building up, and you want to save those heals early. We had one setup where I had to use 3 heals, so this is the time before this. We set up 3 heals, using 3 heals to keep one of my guys safe, and we just didn't have enough heals, and we 4-starred it. We just didn't have heals late game, so we just started to lose people. So you can even see one of our Magnuses right there using his big AoE, trying to keep the bots alive. It's not really needed as long as the Transylvania stays alive. So the main thing is save the Transylvania, save 2 towers, and eliminate all foes in the filth. So again, not trying to really do, killing the DDs. I'm letting my teams do that. I'm just really trying to focus on the big damage on the battleships, and then the scarabs if I can or if needed, because you can basically one-shot them. But of course, our teams are using it. You can see one of our cruisers going down south around, and cruisers are basically, they're fine to do whatever. We did have one of our cruisers get dev struck, which was kind of a bummer for him. But they're okay to just kind of do what they want, because he's setting up to take down the CV, and when that happens, we want to be able to have him pump out as much damage and then use one of your battleships. So he's already heading south, and the thing is, he just needs to do as much damage as possible, and then he can use those self heals to do it. Me, I'm basically defending and just trying to do damage. As you can see here, dropping more and more on these battleships, and then once those things get a little crazy, we can use the pause here and do if we need to. So as we see another one, he's getting into kind of the situation, kind of protecting me. So as you see, we have me launching planes, we have 2 cruisers on the south side, and then all of our battleships north side, and then 1 other cruiser north side. So he's going to protect them from destroyers. These guys are basically protecting me from destroyers, pumping out damage, and then getting really in the situation to we got to deal with the Gorgon and then deal with the big bad boss, because they're actually pretty tough to deal with. And there's a couple ways to drop. So again, we're kind of racing to get as much damage as possible, but as you can see, we're already above 100k. As you see my fighter just above our north group, that's where there's going to be a big spawn of enemy ships. And that's not going to spawn for a while. I just kind of have my fighter there, and that's when we're going to start using our first abilities. Right now, it's just basically a farm fest, getting Transylvania out of position and just stacking as much damage as possible so we can use that stuff late game. Again, no heals have been used, no pauses have been used. It's just not needed yet. And again, we're just getting these ships in ready to go for this big first wave, because that's going to be the toughest part. Again, if you lose like the Hellslinger, you lose a couple of the PV guys or the bots, it's not that big of a deal. You're not going to miss much. And even seeing one of my cruisers, I'm watching his health right there, seeing if he needs a heal. But as you'll see right here, he's going to pop his cooldown right here and just watch his healing go up. He gets I mean, look how insane that is, even early game. So he probably doesn't even have that much damage done. So asking if he needs the heal. If not, we could help him out, but he has that. So even though he takes a big hit right there, but his heal is still going to go crazy. As you can see, he's still just ripping it up. So he's still going to take damage from the filth, but it's really not too bad. So right here, we got about 170k so far, which isn't too bad. And now the first wave north is going to start getting into position. So this is where we're going to start using our pause ability. The group on the left just spawned, and there will be 2 sets. This is where you're going to lose your first tower. Make the tower last as long as possible, but you're going to lose one. It's no real big deal. You're allowed to lose one. And we already have our guys into position. So as you see that moon right there, that means they're paused for 15 seconds. So that's going to help our guys do as much damage as possible. And we're going to try to drop on the battleships, and we're going to try to save the tower, because that means they'll go that way and stay away from our second tower. But yeah, it's basically just stacking the damage, get that damage in, and we'll do what we can. And we're basically waiting and getting into a spot where we're ready for the two big bosses. We have the CV to deal with, and then we have the battleship to deal with. So and we're doing pretty good actually on our kills in the filth as well. So again, right here, I used one of them, and we just used a heal, so our guys will take damage because they are getting a bit close. So we just used our heal at a 200k damage. That's going to be all right. But as you see right here, the tower is already at 40k. They'll chunk the tower pretty quick, but if you rapid fire those pauses, as you can see, I'm using my second one right now, especially because Rasputin is up right there. But we already have our battleship in place, and we already have some cruisers in place as well for that. And our cruiser down south is already working on the Great Gorgon. So basically, it's all about placement and preparation. This isn't really that hard, but if you know what ships to put where, you're going to have a really easy time kind of doing it, because it's all about preparation. It really is when it comes to this operation. If you just get the cruiser, the right ships in the right spot, you're going to just absolutely wreck. And if you got a decent kind of know what you're doing, you're going to be able to do that. So as you see, our cruiser down south, he's basically going to be fine with living through whatever because of his self heal. Me, I'm just trying to still stack up as much damage as possible and kill these battleships that are close. And the main of our force, we rotated our one cruiser north, and it's just about killing those guys as we drag them up and drag Transylvania towards the upcoming spot. So dealing with a Great Gorgon and Rasputin. Great Gorgon is the CV, and Rasputin is the battleship. So how to deal with those? One, you can basically just stick one of your cruisers down south. Just have them, you get a free 19-point captain. Just spec him out with AA. Just keep shredding his planes and just have him basically farm that out. It's not that big of a deal. Again, he'll be able to be, and as you can see right here, boom. This is what's so important about at least having one battleship in the right spot. What did he do? He used a ramming flag, and he used his immunity ability. So that's super important. And just like that, Rasputin's done. Easy peasy. It's very important to set that up. I was watching another person do this on Twitch, and they were playing a destroyer, and they were just pumping damage in with the destroyer, and they did like 1,000,000 damage to it. And the repairs are just so insane that this thing can do, as long as they are within the filth. So easiest way to do it: rock that ramming flag if you have them, and just get a battleship to basically ram, and you're going to be good to go. Again, we're pausing them right here, getting a bit of a reset, and getting our cruiser down south the ability to keep pumping out damage. So Gorgon isn't going to be able to launch many planes when he's on fire, and he'll basically be perma 4 fires. Again, watching his health if needed, because he's basically our ability to do that. And of course, if he can pause it, he can get torps on him as well. So, but if he's spec'd out for AA, it just kind of helps him stay alive a bit more and less planes to deal with, because it's really hard, because I'm still trying to pump out damage and help the team out. So it's tough to really kind of be an AA ship. But one cruiser can kind of just deal with the Great Gorgon down south. The rest of the team can just focus on killing the ships as they're going north. And already we're in a really good spot right now. I'm dropping about one torp squad on each little group. I've continued to move. We've already killed Rasputin, which is fantastic. And again, it's just so crucial to get that battleship kill on that. So one of our battleships is pretty low. I don't know if you saw his health, about 27k, and we'll see if I click back over to him, and you can kind of see how much life he has left. Again, using our pauses here, we have 2 more left after this. Just using them kind of whenever at this point to just do extra, like basically just help our guys live. They're going to be pumping a ton of damage. The heals are going to be crazy from our cruisers. The damage is going to be crazy from our cruisers, and the heals from our battleships. Those AoE circle heals are going to be fantastic. And as you can see, there's basically 2 main groups of ships in this. So as long as you just stick together with one battleship and the other one, you're basically going to take no damage. I mean, you take permanent damage from the filth, but stacking those heals over and over and over, that's why it's so important, in my opinion, to have at least a couple of those battleships to just be AoE healers. Again, using the pause right here, and we'll try to snag this guy. Again, we have 2 heals. I recommend at least holding on to one of the heals, because it's because that can be so clutch. Now we're up to 400,000 damage. We've maxed it out. So no matter what, our heal is basically going to max out. And so we'll see. He was at 26k, and as you can see right here, my heal is just going nuts, and we're going to heal him up basically almost to full. So that's it's really clutch to just kind of hold on that. Again, our one cruiser was focusing on Gorgon the entire time, and he's got him about 80k still. So obviously he's done, I think he ended up doing right around like 1 million damage or something like that. So you will get it down, but the heals are nuts. That's one thing that's about Rasputin too, is that if he is in that filth, he will just heal. So just trying to purely out DPS it is really tough, even with torps and guns. That's why that ram is just so big, being able to just do that. And so there we go. We sent one of our other battleships down. He did the exact same thing. He ended up actually getting both kills on the big bosses. And he was able to kill that guy. So we didn't have to use a pause. And again, we're just trying to baby. And again, sending the last heal out, you'll see how much of an impact it has on that battleship, giving them an extra 30, almost, 30 some K extra life, which is pretty sick. And everybody's basically topped off. So we're just rolling right here. And so he says 1.5 mil. Now he's on 1.5 mil to just that CV. That's how much healing those will do. And it basically, they're not going to be able to heal through 4 fires, but it's that as soon as they get that repair on that and that fire is no longer there, it's really tough to actually DPS through it, even with the cooldowns. You will be at a positive, but it's insane watching what they can heal through in that filth. But really just kind of focusing on this, getting the damage out, another big pause on this, and just making sure that they don't do it. Our second tower is still at 99k life. They just started doing damage to it, and we're using our last pause. So this is why you kind of just want to use keep a heal, especially as a CV player. Keeping that heal and keeping a pause, kind of just ace in the sleeve if you need it, because it can get a little crazy. But really, if you just kind of do that and just focus on that. But really, it's all about just positioning and preparation when it comes to this one for the hard mode. One, get a cruiser in the south spot ready for the Gorgon. He's going to be focusing that Gorgon the entire game, and get the rest of your squad to protect Transylvania to the north. And then one thing you want to do is get a battleship, if you need to coordinate it with your CV player to focus on the stunning, like the Rasputin if you need to, so you can get the ram off, that's fine. But just get one battleship to focus on ramming Rasputin, getting that done and over with, so you can focus on that. If you spend too much time focusing on all the other ships instead of focusing on killing, if you too many ships focusing on killing Rasputin and not the other ships, you will just get completely overrun by enemy ships, and your second tower will go down easy. So getting those Rasputin down ASAP with that ramming from the battleship is extremely important, because if you don't do that, you're going to have 3-4 people focusing all their guns on that battleship because the healing is so insane. So and then once you kind of free up some stuff, Rasputin's dead, you can rotate another ship down and then help that cruiser if you can to kill off the Great Gorgon, and you're basically good. So GG's. It took us 2 real tries once we kind of focused the real build. Again, our build was 1 CV, 3 cruisers, 3 battleships, and it was actually a lot of fun. So a lot of people have been having trouble. We helped a couple people in chat get their 5 stars and get their rewards, so that's always awesome. And some GG's in chat right there. But again, preparing and just positioning is going to be the massive part, and there's our 5-star right there. So pretty fun overall, a good time, and I really had a good time with this operation. It was cool to see kind of the hard mode and right there. So you'll see, I mean, we had 2 of our main cruisers just doing a ton of damage. Look at those base XPs. I mean, I had 600,000. I think our top cruiser right there, I think he had like 1.6 million damage. Our second cruiser had like 1.2 ish. Our one battleship that got both the kills on the boss fights, I think he was at like 700k. I had almost 600k. And then after that, it was kind of just like some extra backups. We could easily drop, like, we could probably drop our bottom Magnus for another cruiser or another for a destroyer if you really want to. It was just better to be safe than sorry, because if those ramming abilities is such a big damage, and just having that AoE ability, so getting as much of that AoE heal as possible, because if you lose one ship, although there's no limit or no requirement to keep X amount of ships alive, it tends to kind of snowball out of control just because of how many ships there are. So having that AoE heal ability with the CV as well as those battleships is fantastic. And then just having the cruisers kind of be fine by their own no matter what because of their healing ability is fantastic. So you could drop out a battleship. Again, we had one of our group run 2 destroyers. I felt like just the consistency of the battleships, the survivability of the battleships, and the healing of the battleships was fantastic. And then using our cruisers to be those damage dealing classes. But anyways, I hope this helps you out. This is from the CV point of view, so you kind of get to see what's going on through the entire event, and will hopefully give you an idea of where to go, where to position with what ships, and give you the best chance to 5-star. Even if you're trying to random it, you can get, hopefully a good group that is going to at least listen to you, and you can go out and get your 5-star done. But overall, a very fun event. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope this video helps get a 5-star on the Sunray in the Darkness hard mode. Anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.